Welcome back to the College Cinephile. I'm Ethan, and this week I'm back with Coleman to talk about The Old Man and the Gun, Robert Redford's final film. Directed by David Lowery and co-starring Casey Affleck, Sissy Spacek, and Danny Glover, this was the true story about Forrest Tucker, the serial bank robber and septuagenarian.
So, kicking it off with the plot, it like we said, follows this old bank robber, and that's like the entire plot.
That's the movie.
That's the movie. It's just, the premise is all it's about. What you see is what you get with this one. It follows Robert Redford's character, Forrest Tucker, and his exploits, the exploits of his small gang, the Over the Hill gang, as they rob banks. Then the side plot is Casey Affleck, a detective from Dallas, tries to hunt him down. So it is a simple plot. And it's not bad because it's simple, but it just doesn't have a whole lot to capture you other than that basic premise.
Yeah, I do think it's an interesting story. I just don't think it's an interesting enough story to fill an entire runtime of a movie. At least not the way they were telling it. Because you're right, it is just, he's going to rob this bank now. Oh, he met this girl who he kind of likes, who's also, his age, Sissy Spacek. Oh, but now he's going to rob another bank, and Casey Affleck really wants to catch him robbing that bank. But it's not, even that angle of it isn't interesting as it is in something like Zodiac or Hell or High Water, where it's like, oh, are they going to catch them? Does he even know if this is the right person? No, he finds out who it is pretty early on in the movie. And there's not much of a cat and mouse tale on that angle.
Yeah, you can't really call it like a high-stakes chase movie because it's not. Casey Affleck wants to get him and says he does, but it doesn't really look like he's trying that hard. And Robert Redford is pretty much just playing with him. He's just happy. That's one of the big things in the movie. Everyone mentions he's a gentleman, or he was happy when he was robbing the bank, or he was smiling, and that's the entire character. He doesn't get much more depth than that. And I think Casey Affleck's plotline is kind of a dropped ball here. It's not bad by any means, but it's just they set him up as this family man, this family detective, and there's a small conflict of he kind of wants to quit the police force, but he doesn't, and then he kind of wants to get Robert Redford, but then the FBI takes over the investigation, and he does a PI thing, and then that's where the plot ends. He finds him, but he's not the one that arrests him. He's not the one that brings him in. It's just, he found him, and that's the end. If they had expanded a little bit more on his character as this reluctant hero kind of figure, or this kind of weary detective, this weary investigator, maybe it would have been a little more interesting, but it doesn't get that kind of attention.
Yeah, you're talking about him being a family man, he has these two cute kids, and that whole angle is nice, and I was somewhat invested in it. I think it's a problem with the movie that I often found myself more invested in that storyline than with Robert Redford, because this is clearly, his movie. He is the old man with the gun, and it's not Casey Affleck's movie, but I just don't think that there is enough substance to Forrest Tucker as a person to make a film with emotional stakes or any kind of, greater point to it. That was kind of what movie I was sold on going in. The rumors outside of festivals and stuff has been that this is more of a prestige picture, because it is Robert Redford's last movie. But it just was kind of just a nice little Sunday afternoon kind of TV movie to me.
Yeah. One area I do think it does do well in, I won't because I didn't dislike the movie, and mostly because of the character interactions.
Right.
I thought every conversation or scene with Robert Redford and Sissy Spacek, I thought they were really cute together and they had good chemistry. Then the situations where Casey Affleck was with his family, I thought those were really good. It shows a more caring and complex side of him than just a detective. And then there's one scene where Casey Affleck and Robert Redford interact, and that's probably the best scene in the movie.
Definitely.
Just the way the charisma of both of the actors play off of each other as these rival characters. But other than that, if that kind of carries the movie for me, but it doesn't make it a great movie.
Yeah, that's the one Zodiac scene you really want.
Yeah.
But Robert Redford is an immensely charming person.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
he's really laying it on thick in this movie. I don't know about your screening, but my screening was full of a lot of older people who were really having a great time with him. I'm sure it's a movie that my grandparents and their friends will really enjoy. I think for his last movie, it's a good one in the sense that it gives him a chance to be as charming as he wants, but I don't think it will be a big emotional draw that they were kind of hoping for.
Yeah, and really the biggest problem, other than like the lack of substance, is there's no character arcs really.
Yeah.
Robert Redford starts out the movie being this charming bank robber and ends as the same charming bank robber, not really having learned anything. Same with Casey Affleck, same with Sissy Spacek's character. None of them really change from beginning to end. But I know you wanted to talk about David Lowery a little bit.
Yeah, he's the director of this movie, and he's a guy I really like. I've enjoyed all of his previous movies. He did the Pete's Dragon remake. He did this little movie with Casey Affleck called Ain't Them Body Saints, which is a really fun little indie movie. And then he made one of my favorite movies of last year, which is A Ghost Story, which was this very interesting deconstruction of narrative and just in general a stretch and a very auteurist film. And that's what I want him to be doing is interesting, innovative indie art films, not this light little cup of coffee that is The Old Man and the Gun.
Yeah, I feel like this is more Robert Redford's movie than it is David Lowery's. He's the director,
Right.
but I expect that Robert Redford probably had more control ultimately over what the movie was going to be.
Yeah.
And even if he wasn't the one saying it, everyone was probably catering to him since it's his last film. And, he deserves that. He's had an iconic career, and he's good in this movie. But I do think it is slightly a shortcoming.
I agree. So I guess my final thoughts, I would give it probably a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, because it wasn't an amazing movie, but I didn't hate seeing it.
No, I enjoyed my
Yeah,
time. I just didn't feel that it was special.
Yeah, it's good if you just want to see some charming actors play off of each other for a 2-hour movie. That's all you really need. So I'd probably give it a 3 as well. All right. So that's wrapping up another episode of the College Cinephile. If you disagree with what we said about the movie, let us know in the comments section. If you like what we said or dislike, make sure you let us know that too, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of our reviews. Thank you all.